Hi, Amit. Today I
Hey,
wanted to
Vimal.
check with you. You spoke to me about the co-seller network in, the whole co-seller network plan. Actually, the IT, the technology that, allows us to have, Awake to have millions and millions of co-sellers registered with Awake to sell all the products that come into the network. Now, this is something that nobody else has got, as I understand, in the world. This whole technology of actually. So, what is it different? How is it different? People ask me from referral marketing or from MLM or from any other kind of affiliate marketing that people do, which they take up from drop shipping or anywhere else and just created this thing affiliate set site and market and takes whatever little percentage the brand gives. So they basically share
Yeah,
affiliates share the brand. So how is this whole package different
different. Yeah.
for people to
You
log
see,
in?
if you look
That,
at
and
an
to
app,
also lead one more to lead to that question is how does it generate? You were saying that employment is something that self-employment is
yes,
something that this assists. So how this whole co-sellers segment is different from them, and how does it help people to earn money
right.
to almost be like a self-employed person? So these two things, if we could understand
Yeah,
today, I think it would
sure.
be wonderful.
That's a good topic. So you see, all of this that I'm going to describe comes from having built large scale systems for other retailers. Like the 10 plus years of retail or e-commerce, I should say, that we did, and helping people sell more using AI and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then following that, many years of servicing media companies in their goal to grow their audience, to grow their engagement, to grow their first party data that the publisher knows about their audience, and then to grow their advertising revenue. You see, these two things I have done in last many years, and the reason why I got interested and why we did a lot of stuff in media is because media drives commerce, right? So how do you know there's something in the market? Because you come across it on media. The media today is digital, right? I mean, you don't, I mean, sure, paper, but in general,
It's
media is
over.
digital. So in other words, another way to look at the same situation is if you're a company or a person, but let's take a company, like media company is obvious. A media company has to produce digital media. That's how the world knows about its existence. And what a digital media company is its content online, right? There's nothing apart from the digital media that is the company, because people online will only come across the media. They'll not come across the people in real life or what is in the person's mind. What is
True.
actually present is the digital media, whatever they produce, the
Yes.
content.
Yes.
This point is true regardless of whether you're a media company or you think you're not a media company. You could be a
Correct.
person who sells eggs, right, from their farm. But if you're not online today, which means if you're not producing some kind of digital media, Google cannot find you, or no search engine can find you. Nobody can know about you other than those you tell physically. So you don't exist. So the presence of digital media is your presence and is your entire whatever people know about you. That's how important that media is. So
Correct.
if that media platform that you use to connect to the internet at large, which is where all your shoppers are eventually and everyone is, and if you're not on all the platforms where audiences are, then you don't exist, right? I mean, how else will they know them? Those people will not know you, right?
Correct.
So every company now, this is our hypothesis, right? Every company is a media company.
Yes.
Because if you're not a
Every
media
company
company,
of Awake, every
no,
company of
I'm talking
Awake.
about the world, right?
Hmm,
People
hmm,
don't
hmm.
realize. I used to ask
That's
people
true.
when I ran Quintype, I used to ask, publishers and so on, managing editors and stuff, what is their business model? What business are they in? And they often
Hmm.
talked about expertise and content and all that stuff, right? Passion and changing the world and, opinions and information and all that stuff. But media is in the advertising business, right? That means you're selling attention. The shopper that reads your article is interesting to the advertiser only because they're selling something.
Very true.
They're not interested in it because of some, you know, commiseration with your mission to educate the world. They're there for one purpose and they're willing to pay for it, which is to access Vimal. And I want to sell you something, right? And this is a cost to me, right? And by the way, producing the content is a cost to the media company. So when they talk about content being their business model, I say, boss, that's how you use money. You know, you use up money. You don't get money from content. No one's paying you for your content unless you're New York Times and you have a subscription. You know, 99% of media is not able to charge subscriptions. So when you talk about content, that's purely in the cost bucket, not in your revenue bucket.
Very true.
Right? So for the whole universe, the question is very simple. I need digital media. I need storytelling. People need to know. It's going to cost me. This is called cost of acquisition and branding and all that. How am I going to pay for this? Very simple question. And who am I going to pay? And where are all the people? Right? So this is why we built the digital infrastructure, because it absolutely connects all the technology platforms for media out there, right? Which is all the social media platforms and so on. And on this fabric, we built the publisher technology. So you can push content everywhere, right? So this was the first step, to build the audience and to actually get indirect access to all these people, because everyone involved is trying to sell them something.
Correct.
Right? So
you're saying that you're building the content part first.
We're building the technology part first that connects all the internet platforms out there. First, we did this with media, with all the media technology platforms. My last company, Quintype, did this. We connected up all the digital media platforms where a publisher might want to push content because audiences are already there, like TikTok, for example.
Yes.
Before all this stuff that happened, TikTok was a good place to reach people because there were so many people there, right? So obviously, if you're a shop, you can set up shop in the jungle where there's nobody, but then you get full ownership of every piece of traffic that comes there because there's nobody else. Or you can set up shop in a busy mall where there's also other competitors, perhaps, but everybody together has a lot more business because everybody goes there for, obvious reasons, right?
True.
So that's the network effect we're talking about, right? So by combining these two things, Awake came to a very simple hypothesis here, right? What is our view of the world? Very simple. The cost to run a business is the customer acquisition cost only, and the cost of transaction, right? Because if I can get the order and get the money for the order first, then I can get the other side done. That's not a problem.
Correct.
Right? So in other words, we are not a supply side economics. We are demand side economics. We have already accumulated the shoppers. We have line of sight to 2 billion shoppers in the next couple of years. Already we will cross close to 500 million shoppers this year through our network of networks. This is a first party network, and I'll explain what I mean by first party. But it's a direct network, which means we know all the people. Why do we know all the people? Because this network was assembled for two purposes. One is because they're shoppers, right? We want to be able to advertise to them and sell them stuff. The second is all of us are part of this network. 2 billion, 3 billion, 5 billion people. That's everybody, right? We are both consumers and workers. We produce other things. We do other stuff. So the second part, which is the co-creation, we all do stuff, right? Online. And today doing something means online. Otherwise, how do I know you did it? Right? It's very simple, right? Either you do it in private, nobody knows, or it's online and everybody knows, even if it's, accessible through permissioning and so on, right? So that's available now, right? We have this massive network of people. So what can we service them? What can we give them? We can give them everything. We can give them all the products and services, of course, that we are now assembling, right? With ShopType and with all the other platforms, we are going to hit probably 10 to 15 million products by end of next year. So you can buy all of these, sure, right? And get the best reviews and the best expertise and all that stuff, sure. But you also want income, right?
Correct.
So I can provide you income by paying you to do the job that I would anyway pay somebody, which is to sell for me, not just be a shopper, but become a partner to Awake. The entire technology stack is available for free, which means you become a full-on business node where if you drive the orders, which is all you need to do, somebody else takes care of the fulfillment, right? And you monetize your network wherever you are in the world, locally or online, in any axis of interest that you have, and experience and expertise that you have, right? Now, question is, nobody buys the minute they see something, the minute you tell them, right? Therefore, how do I track the sales, right? Because I might be explaining to people, I might be selling, I might be doing all those things, but people don't buy in the first time they see it. So that means the tracking of how someone bought something, right? That piece, if it's not fully perfect, then this model doesn't work. In other words, today's affiliate model, which is only able to track the last click affiliation or attribution, right? The attribution model today of all affiliates is last click, where did the person come from? And then within a certain time, they will allocate, which is, you don't have any other choice because you can't track anything else, right? Now, obviously, the fact is that last click was literally the last click after like 20 other events, which were the most important events that got you to the last click in the first place, right? So the
True.
fact that all you're able to track is where you are able to see something doesn't mean that the rich data is not elsewhere, right? So
Correct.
we track absolutely everything, which means we are able to finally tell the marketer where the sales dollars are being spent, marketing dollars, right? This is the fundamental black hole in the world today. You can go to WPP or anyone else and ask them, boss, okay, I've given you $1 million for marketing. Which orders came from which dollar?
No, nobody can tell you.
Nobody can tell you, but we
Yes.
can tell you. This is called performance marketing plus plus, right? Where everybody turns into a perfectly attributed node in the network, and any activity that happens that leads up to any other event of interest, we're able to track the entire chain, which
Right.
means now we can pay out commissions, 50%, 40%, whatever that DTC commissions are typically, which can be much higher as well, to anybody in the chain that drove it. And it could be across time and space. It could take 1 month for someone to buy a car, for example, or a television or something, which requires research and opinions and bouncing around, or a travel package, or insurance, or so many things that people deliberate and buy because it's infrequent, but it has bigger commissions, right? Imagine an auto sale now with all the enthusiasts around the world that are really into the actual information of cars, and they do all the crazy stuff that you and I would not even imagine doing, but they'll put it up online, and they have huge followers for the very minutest details on bike engines and whatever, like things, right? And shoes, and you'll find people who have very deep interests, and these people
Correct.
have crazy followings, big followings, because people are interested in this deep
Yes.
expertise and valuable, like nuanced, like perfection, So this now unlocks everybody's passion because you can monetize that. Whether that, today YouTube and Facebook will eat all that money
Yes.
because they don't give you the benefit of that. So
True.
now we turn that around. We say the person uses their networks and the platforms they're connected to for free, which is what Facebook is meant to be, a social media platform where you distribute digital media with your friends. Now you do that. But because we turn this whole network upside down, they no longer can arbitrage that 30%, 40% that is happening today. Fundamental flip is happening because we have wired up now, like we did with previous companies, just the media. Now we have wired up all major internet platforms, all of them. Shopify, Amazon, this, that, all the media, of course. So wherever people are and wherever interactions are happening, we know who are the actors, and we pay them their share. They can claim their share for just plug into the network. You start accruing in your wallet automatically all the attribution driven share of value that has been co-created.
Okay, so you're saying that a person can come onto the site, come onto the Awake Market or any of the initiatives that are run by Awake, and pick up products and sell it to their network.
In one click. Literally, imagine today you do a share.
So if I come into your network, can I take 7, 8 products, make it into a small little Vimal's corner, and sell it to my people as a link?
100%. So we are in fact creating even easier ways for you to do that, where instead of you having to build up an idea or a platform and combine things and set up the pieces to it and so on, we are already launching up, I don't know if this, we've lost track, but close to 50 different verticals by probably in the next month or 2 or 3 in this quarter, built on Awake technology that service various aspects of work, life, play, For instance, Awake Games. It's all about esports and that whole video games and board games and just games, right? It's a huge, huge global market and community. So this market wires up not only the players, but also the retailers, game publishers, game studios, the famous characters in all the games, the fans, the esports providers, tournaments, prize money, rewards. It connects up the whole works, you see. So everyone can join and co-create value and exchange with each other. And we don't behave like Apple or Facebook or whatever and charge prohibitive amounts of money for just existing, right? I mean, if we do a deal here on this Zoom call or whatever this thing is, I think it's Zoom, and Zoom says, hey, we would now charge 30% of your transaction fee because we connected you. We would find that weird. We'd just be like, what? You don't provide that much value, right? Or if we do a deal, in Starbucks, we go to Starbucks, have a coffee, we do a deal, and they give you a check for the coffee and also 30% of the transaction that you did there. That doesn't make any sense.
No way. Why should I?
Right. But that's today's world, right? Today's internet, anywhere because you're there on the so-called platform, they're charging like 10, 20, 30%, just like that. Where is the incremental value? You see, if it's an actual incremental value, sure, I'm happy to give. But is it today? Today, if I'm on Facebook or on App Store or anywhere, am I getting automatic sales?
No.
No, I have to push. There was a time when
I have, in fact, loaded 1 or 2 products on Facebook. It just didn't sell. I mean, many products my friends have loaded.
Right.
It just didn't sell. So they had to do a lot of outside external marketing other than Facebook to actually make their product, even visible to the others. Because there are many products and they don't even know whom they are selling to. That kind of connect is not there as far as.
And remember now, every time you pay money or just do any marketing at all, your conversion rates are like 2%, right? On average, 2-3%. That means if you're paying $100, you're getting $2 of effective conversion.
True.
So if you have a lot of money, and if you can afford this ridiculous 2 orders of magnitude of inefficiency, then you can continue to subsidize big tech and their revenues. Because that's what you're doing. You're just paying them 2 orders of magnitude more than what effectiveness you need. Literally, because we are blind in the market today. We are completely unable to have a unified view of each other, right? Because of the technology platforms out there. All these Facebooks and everybody else have their own identities. So everybody has 20 profiles or more, and there is no unified view of the customer at all. So and everybody wants to be the biggest, right? So nobody wants to share data with each other. It's unlikely that LinkedIn is about to share data with Facebook, is about to share data with Twitter or Snapchat or any of the other networks, because each one wants to become the next billion people company, right? So from a business point of view, from the internet user point of view, total fragmentation, right? And it's like, I have to pay everybody, right? I mean, it's ridiculous. So this is where the internet, which is the internetwork, doesn't actually work. Internetworking is not happening because they've blocked everything, right? They don't share the data. They don't want to share the data unless you pay them lots and lots of money. So this is how the existing internet market works. And what we have done is we have fixed this problem. And we have fixed it by not doing a technology fix, but there's of course a lot of important technology involved in it. But the biggest fix is we bring everybody back together, the people. So if you're directly working with Awake, it's a one-to-one relationship. You're directly working with Awake, finished. All the other products, services, this, that, flow through you, enabled by us, through all the people that you connect with, whether it's on Facebook or it's on WhatsApp or email or anything, it doesn't matter. So in the presence of Awake, no platform can do what they have been doing, which is to hide the data and to not share and all those things. The minute we launch any network in our protocol stack on the regular internet, people are now able to start making money by working with each other without doing any extra work. One-click integration, they sign in, and that's it. They just start doing. So if take one of our verticals, it's in the pets and animals and so on vertical. You are a dog walker, you love, you're a veterinarian, you're a expert in breeding, or you have a lot of dog shows, and you're an Instagram. You can start to monetize. I mean, do you know the kind of commissions that there are in this business? Massive. I mean, just take ice cream, for example. Okay, we're looking to work with ice cream providers all over the world. It's $100 billion industry.
100%, yeah.
It's $100 billion industry.
100% margin. Yeah, it's a huge industry.
And how are we going to get ice cream today? Are you going to eat from some big corporate brand, which is made in some COVID central factory, or what? Or are you going to make it in eat from local, handmade, organic artisans who you're happy to support because it's part of your community and part of what you believe in, and so on and so forth? That's the experience of food. That's the experience of connection, and that's the experience of community and humanness, right? And that's what's been lacking, and that's what caused this whole mess in the first place. Economic mess, health mess, everything. So we are fixing the very basics of what it is to be social online.
Very true.
Right? This is not socialism. This is being normal human society. And when you connect as a normal human society, all the transactions that are organically happening will accrue to the people that they should accrue to. And then you fix everything. So how do you get to 100 million jobs that I keep talking about? Simple. You create 10 million MSMEs. How do you create 10 million MSMEs? You create the 1 million MSMEs who will then show the next 10 million. How do I get to 1 million MSMEs? Show the 100,000 MSMEs, which you can do with showing 1,000 MSMEs, which I will show doing the first 100 this year.
Wow.
It's simple, right? It's a virus.
So basically, you're saying that now the money that platforms are making will now be made by people who join the Awake network as co-sellers.
Is it not?
And support themselves, support the brand, and also help their friends and network to get good products because they'll be recommending it.
Absolutely.
And they'll make money out of it. So basically, they become sales and associates of Awake Market as salespeople. And what Facebook and Amazon charges 15, 20, 25 to 40% on products. This will be passed on to them, to the co-sellers and multiple
100%.
co-sellers depending on what the brand wants. How does Awake make? Because if you're doing such a large, almost like an employment creation activity or livelihood creation activity, I would put it that way. A person who's free can sit in front of his mobile and start earning money. So you're creating livelihood creation.
Yeah.
If that is what you're doing, how do you make money in such a big activity?
It's very simple. See, if I tell you, Vimal, please join the network, everything I will give you for free, like you just said, your platform, technology, all the access, everything, your wallet, everything. Do whatever you feel that you are good at in the way that you can make the most value for yourself and for your connections, right? You do that. When you're ready to take the cash out, you pay us 1 or 2% of that earnings.
Okay, okay, wonderful. So
That's it.
you're paid around whatever the percentage that you discuss with the brand could range from 2 to 5%, but you pay the payment is taken only after the transaction is done.
Unless you make money, we don't make money. That's number one. Number two, and the most important thing is, unless the customer buys something, no one makes money, right? So
True.
the customer is financing everything. You see, that's why I said it's demand side, right? There's no need for us to imagine we need a lot of funding, we need this, we need that. I mean, this is called people commerce, right? This is a reverse. You mentioned MLM earlier. It's a reverse MLM. I'll tell you the two key differences between us and MLM. One is we don't charge anybody for access, and the people who do the work get paid, not the other way around. Okay, like I mentioned, the system takes hardly any single digit percentages. 2, 3, 4%. That's our take rate. Goal is 1%. Because then question is not about how much does it cost. It's what value do you provide, right? So that's the goal long term. My goal is to drop this to 1% take rate. Because it's going to enable the entire supply chain end to end, right? So whoever connects keeps 99% of the value they produce. If somebody introduces you, they may keep 1% also, no harm in it, right? Because people are happy to share upside, particularly if it's 2%, 1%, to even 3-4 people. I mean, I'm happy to, honestly, if it's real incremental, we're willing to give 30%, right? That's why we operate in this manner. The point is, it's no longer incremental, right? And so we're all just being taken for a ride. So what we're talking about is basic, going back to the roots of commerce, which is really network driven, referral driven, channel driven, expertise and relationships and trust driven, right? And that's all we implement. I mean, that's the basis of human civilization, right? Commerce and media, news.